What's going on, everyone? LA Sports back with another video, and in this video I'm going to be talking about Brian Daboll and whether or not the New York Giants should fire the head coach. And right off the bat, I'm going to tell you the answer for me is easy. It's no. Brian Daboll has really, since the first year, he hasn't done anything crazy to say, wow, this guy is a terrific head coach. This guy should keep his job. Really, it's just been a rough go for the Giants. But is that all on Brian Daboll? I don't think so. I think Brian Daboll is a good head coach, and I think what he did in his first year is a true representation of what he is. His ability to lift up his team and his ability to really make good coaching decisions. I think that's the true coach that he is. And the fact that he was able to do that in his rookie season, tells you that he'll be able to evolve. And of course, the last 2 years have been terrible. But of course, you got to look at the situation, right? You take a look at what he has had to work with at quarterback, which is the most important position on a football team, and especially this New York Giants football team, when you don't have the best roster in the league, like the Detroit Lions or like the San Francisco 49ers, who, they might not need an elite quarterback to succeed. But the Giants quarterback is a very important position. And that's just a position that the Giants have a bad player at. Daniel Jones, I've said this. I don't question his toughness or his will to win or how much he cares. He cares a lot. And, that's one thing you got to give him. All the credit, he deserves all the credit in the world for how much he fights. And as Giants fans, we should be appreciative of him putting his body on the line every single time he hits that field. He gives it everything he's got. He's so tough. And as a Giants fan, you got to thank Jones for that at the very least. But that just doesn't get it done in the NFL. It's a hard league to win in, and that's just not good enough. And for Daniel Jones, he's going to be cut at the end of this year. There's no doubt about it. And that's this year. You look at last year when Jones, really only played half the season. And then you take a look at who Brian Daboll had to work with outside of that: Tyrod Taylor, a backup quarterback, a journeyman quarterback, and an undrafted rookie free agent, Tommy DeVito, which he got 3 wins out of. So if that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what will. I think Brian Daboll is a good head coach still, and I do not think that the Giants should fire him. I think it's pretty clear and obvious at this point, that the Giants are heading in a new direction with Jones, and there will be a new quarterback in here next season. More than likely, it will be a rookie guy, and I think Brian Daboll deserves this chance to, work with a new quarterback and a young guy. The Giants are very close to being a quarterback away. They're definitely a quarterback away from being a contender in the NFC for a playoff spot at the very least. And you take a look at some of these games that we've lost this year. You throw a different quarterback in those situations, the Giants easily win those games. You take a look at the Bengals game, you put really, I'm going to say 20 other quarterbacks in the NFL, they probably win that game. The Dallas game, they probably win that game. The game against Washington, they probably win that game. There's even the game yesterday, they probably win that game. There's just so many games, where you look at the Giants quarterback play and it's like, what is Brian Daboll supposed to do with what he has to work with, right? I think he is putting Jones in the best position he can. I love him as a play caller. I like him better than Kafka. I like Kafka, but I think Brian Daboll is way better. He's being more creative. He's, trying to get Daniel Jones out of the pocket. He uses his legs, and sometimes it works. But he just throwing the football. Jones just doesn't have it. And you take a look at the play yesterday. It's 3rd and 1, and the Giants try a flea flicker. A lot of people are going to say, I don't like them trying to get too cute. They should have just ran the ball or QB sneaked it, get the first down. But, you look at just the play call. It was such a good play call. It had Malik Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson, our 2 best receivers, in the middle of the field, wide open with 10 yards of separation, and Daniel Jones doesn't even throw the football. That is not on Brian Daboll. I don't care about, you want to talk about him being too cute, this, that, and the other. I think he put Daniel Jones in a perfect situation on that specific play, as he's done on a lot of plays this year, and he just can't get it done. So I think this is a Daniel Jones situation more so than a Brian Daboll situation. Now, has Brian Daboll been perfect? No, not at all. Some people question going for it on 2-point conversions. I actually do like that. I know I'm not a huge analytics guy, but I do like that. If there is anything about analytics that I like going for 2 there when you're down by 8 points. I like going for 2. And then there's a few things like not getting the kicker ready in that game against Washington. Yeah, you can blame those things on Brian Daboll not being ready, but you cannot question him as a coach. This is a team where you're 2-8. You can see guys just quitting on the field, and it's not happening. I think he has his guys giving every bit of effort. There's going to be a couple guys that don't, but that's just themselves as a player. That's their personality. I think Brian Daboll is a good coach, and I think he's still going to be the future. I don't think the Giants are going to fire him at this point, and I think he's going to be the future for the Giants at the head coaching spot. I think he's going to be the guy, and he's going to prove that next year. The Giants will draft their guy, and Brian Daboll will be able to work with him really well. He'll be able to, with a rookie quarterback, I think put him in a very good situation. You're going to have probably a top 5 pick, which means you're going to have a top 2 or 3 quarterback in the class, whether that's Cam Ward, whether that's Shedeur Sanders, whether that's Quinn Ewers, Jalen Milroe, whoever it may be. Brian Daboll, I think, is going to show the world what he is made to do. And I think, at this point, this season's completely a wash. And at 2-8, at this point, you're just hoping for a good draft pick. Really, it sucks that we're at that point, but it's just the reality. And I think really at this point, Brian Daboll is he's gonna continue to try and get the best out of his players. But I really do believe next year with a new quarterback, an improved offensive line. Evan Neal looked great yesterday. I just want to say that. And I think that's a good job by Daboll to put him in the right game. You put him in against Carolina, a team that's not so great after he's been coached up all year, in practices. You put him up against some easier competition than a team like the Steelers and TJ Watt. Or, you just put him in an easier situation. You try and get him to have a good game, and just have something to build off of, get some confidence. So I do like Brian Daboll doing that. I think Neal looked good, but I do think next year, though, with the new quarterback, I think our head coach, Brian Daboll, will really elevate this team. And I think this team could be a very good team with a good quarterback. And we'll ultimately see who that quarterback ends up being. But I definitely think Brian Daboll is the man for the job, for the New York Football Giants head coach. I don't think they're going to fire him, and they certainly shouldn't do so. But we'll see what ends up happening. I like Daboll, and I think he's going to prove next year really what he is made of with a new quarterback, a good quarterback. And, you'll be able to see next year that this was a quarterback issue more than anything. But that's all I got in this video. You guys let me know down below in the comment section your thoughts on Brian Daboll. Do you think he should keep his job? I believe he should, and I believe he will. You guys let me know all that good stuff down below in the comment section. As always, please leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. See you guys on the next video. And as always, let's go Giants.